All right. I
Okay.
can just stop and start it. That's nice.
And it
But
just creates like a new file or
uh
whatever.
I guess. Yeah, I don't see a new file for it, but I was trying to just not have to have AJ listen to us figuring this out for 10 minutes before starting it. But whatever. It's no big deal. What's up and welcome back, everybody. We are Rough Draft Research. You are the audience, and together we are on a mission of dynasty domination. If you notice, that is not the normal intro voice. AJ is a little busy, as are we all this week after the draft and hour for the belt draft coming up. A bunch of us are getting together for that, but we didn't want to leave you hanging for a week. So me and Dan are going to get together, give you a little bit of a kind of quick just recap of the draft, some of our thoughts, some of little nitpicky stuff here and there, and kind of just have a little bit of a conversation about it. Nothing too crazy tonight, but should at least keep us in your minds. You know what I mean? So with that said, how you doing, Dan?
I'm doing great, man. Yeah, coming off the draft, I this is a weird one, man. I feel like I was more excited before, and maybe
Yeah.
it's like this every year, and it's just like a recency thing, but
Mhm.
it's just it was cool. It was a lot of fun, but I'm like, some of my guys just got buried, so
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we'll touch all over it, but man, it was a cool draft. It was a lot of fun. Didn't actually make it to the draft on Friday night, which was kind
Oh.
of a bummer, but
Yeah.
also like that's a big crowd. So,
Yeah, it's huge.
but man, I thought a good icebreaker tonight is just to kind of talk about like just the quarterbacks, man. Like
Okay.
just general. There were I don't know, upwards of like a dozen of these guys drafted, which is
Hmm.
kind of crazy. But um, I thought it was pretty obvious that Bryce Young was going to go number one, and then Stroud to the Texans is pretty sweet. But no one knew what was going to happen with the Colts,
Hmm.
and I think Anthony Richardson, like he's kind of to the moon now, man.
Yeah.
Like people are talking about him being number two behind Bijan in a super flex and whatnot.
I
So
I am one of those people. I'm buying in. I do this every fucking year with the Colts. Every time they draft, I just me and Chris Ballard, GM of the Colts, must have just kind of a lockstep in how we feel. But just something about Shane Steichen being there, and I know it's such an easy dot to connect, right? Shane Steichen, Coach Jalen Hurts, and now they have a running quarterback. It's gonna work. But I don't necessarily know that it's gonna work, but I think the upside and like the landing spot made me feel good about the risk of the upside. Like obviously like he may still bust or whatever, but like him landing there kind of was the perfect spot for him.
absolutely. And the thing that takes him over the top is the confidence the Colts have in him to
Hmm.
to make the pick. I mean,
Yeah.
whoever they selected was going to get that bump. And
Hmm.
they just happened to select, this primo athlete
Yeah.
that's got the arm and like we've said a few times, he's on the up, he's got a lot of space to
Hmm.
grow, yet he
Yeah.
offers that, that rushing floor. So people are pretty pumped. Um, and then yeah, man, Will Levis
Mm,
falling out into the
that was
second round.
nuts.
Ended up with Tennessee, so that's like somewhat promising.
I like that, man. I mean, he kind of is Ryan Tannehill, right? Like the very similar play style. They kind of look like basically Will Levis is like shredded Ryan Tannehill, I
Mhm,
guess.
mhm.
Like they kind of look similar. So like It makes a lot of sense. And I mean, now knowing that the Titans were trying to trade back up into the end of the first round to take him, like makes me feel even better about it. I do think the Titans as a whole are kind of a shit show right now. I
Yeah.
just think their roster is pretty bad.
Mhm.
But I do like it seems like they're in on Levis, and like I'm not necessarily in on Levis, but I do like the landing spot.
Yeah. It just feels like there's going to be a little bit of a delay on anything with him, which
Oh yeah.
totally makes sense. But yeah, I don't think the Titans are, they're not ready to call it, a
Mhm.
rebuild or like retool or
Yeah.
let's see what this rookie can do, when they've got the Malik Willis and the Tannehill, you could see some heavy back burner and whatever going on with them. So,
Hmm.
but that's all good, man. So that's just setting the basis for the quarterbacks because I feel like we're probably not going to really get into them too much as through this conversation. Um,
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine so. Um,
yeah,
Shout out Stenson Bennett going in the fourth round. That was fun.
yeah, it would mean a lot more if it wasn't the Rams, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Like worst drafting team in the world. But yeah, I thought that was cool. I thought Aiden O'Connell was a good call to the
Hmm.
Raiders. And of course, man, like Hendon Hooker to the Lions. Like,
Yeah,
come on, dude.
that is
That's
nice.
that's sweet. I mean, I saw something that said the Lions get their quarterback of the future, and I'm like, I don't know. Like that seems like a quick assumption.
He's only like
Uh,
8 months younger than Jared Goff.
right.
Like,
Yeah. It's yeah, that's true facts. Coming off a ACL, hopefully he doesn't get caught up gambling with his friends up there. But yeah, man, I thought it would be cool to just start out by talking about like moves that we really loved or like players
hmm
that were reinvigorated or got a bump
hmm
in our books. And I guess I don't know, man. I'm not gonna dredge through our past and talk about how Marvin Mims is way more promising than Trey Palmer all of a sudden.
That's
But
fair.
I did want to talk
Where
about
is
my
Trey
boy.
Palmer? Oh yeah.
He got Tampa Bay, didn't he?
In the sixth. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 buried. Um, I did want to talk about my dude, Jonathan Mingo. He's probably the biggest bump for me,
Hmm.
uh, going in the eighth pick of the second round to be on a Carolina team that doesn't really offer too much in the way of competition. Adam Thielen, Agent, DJ Chark, kind of whatever you want to think about DJ Chark is probably true at some point in his career, but not consistently. And then you got Terrace Marshall Jr., who obviously I've got the deep feelings for, but I think Jonathan Mingo pops in here as a guy who, if he could do things the way that he did with Ole Miss, could probably pop in and be Bryce Young's biggest fan, biggest friend, biggest confidant, and end up just kind of blazing a trail to fantasy success. Unfortunately, guys like me trying to get him in the third round, been thinking about it for months, are now unfortunately not probably going to see that happening.
Yeah.
So,
No, it's a hell of a landing spot. You show up with the new future quarterback and they want him to develop that relationship. So I'm with you. He gets a huge bump
mhm.
for me. Mims does too while you're shouting it out. I mean, especially with Sean Payton being the guy that took him, you think like there's a reason he took him in the third round. So yeah, big whiff on my part there.
uh, uh,
Well, I mean, we'll see, I guess. We got to see what happens, but him going in the second round is pretty nuts. But so is Tank Dell going in the third.
yeah,
Um,
is that a guy you're pretty excited about?
oh no, no, I just noticed his name next to Marvin Mims, and it still shocks me that he went in the third round. But apparently CJ Stroud asked for him specifically, like after he
Huh.
got drafted by the Texans, they asked him, like, we're already picking his brain, and Tank Dell was one of the guys that he asked for. So
That's
I like it
incredible.
from that angle that they're already trying to like get CJ Stroud the guys he likes and like and set him up for success. But that was quite a shock to me.
Yeah, first pick for the Broncos, who had limited draft capital, so
Mims,
to get
yeah,
Marvin Mims, yeah.
yeah,
I like the
speak
Tank
about
Dell move though, man. I mean, I've got kind of like question marks and all the capital that Houston had, and for them to only really add him and then Xavier Hutchinson, which was what is that, a 6th round pick as well?
hmm
So
something like that. Yeah, six.
kind of
Yeah,
gives these guys the opportunity to really, I mean, it's anyone's wide receiver room. There's a lot of depth, but there's not a depth of talent.
hmm
So we'll see what Robert Woods looks like and how John Mechie comes back. But it's kind
yeah,
of, we could see a rookie getting feisty on that team, man. And I think honestly, not a rookie, but Dalton Schultz has got to be like the man to have. Might be leading that team in targets. So.
yeah. That's true. Um, Speaking of just sticking on receivers who I thought deserve a pretty decent bump. I love Rasheed Rice to the Chiefs. I think he kind of slides in and does that juju role. I know it's easy to get excited about guys that play with Mahomes, but I also see kind of a spot for him. The other one, and like I said, I do it every year, it's Josh Downs. I think Josh Downs going to the Colts makes a lot of sense as far as like now you've got Pittman and then you've got the running game going with Jonathan Taylor, and then you kind of have Tank Dell to be, or not Tank Dell, Josh Downs to be over the middle of the field, that safety blanket for Richardson, and you can run him out with him on these like let's boot out right and see if somebody's open, and then we'll just scream Josh Downs across the middle of the field. If he's open, then hit him. If not, take off down the field. Like I really like the combination of the two. And it makes me really excited about both of them actually.
Yeah, no, I think so. And I mean, this is kind of a deep cut, but the way I saw wide receivers adjusting to Anthony Richardson's kind of sometimes questionable throws, it really mirrored the kind of adjustments that Josh Downs makes on a regular basis just to overcome his size disadvantage.
Yeah.
So I
hmm
think that yeah, he slots in there as a really complimentary receiver to what Richardson has going on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I was into that a lot. Other than that, though, I mean, like Jaden Reed, I think is interesting. Second receiver in the second round. But the Packers are just such a question mark. We just don't know. We don't know what the average age of the offense in Green Bay now is 23. Like we just have
oof,
no idea what
that's crazy.
what that I think that's skill positions technically, not offensive lineman, but you know what I mean. So like
Mhm.
I think he fits a need for them. He slides into the slot there and like he has the ability to bounce outside and kind of be moved around. So that's an interesting one, but it's hard to really place value there.
Yeah, he's probably one of the players I'm the most excited about coming out of the draft.
Really?
And
Okay.
yeah, I mean, yeah, he was the guy that I was excited about. I didn't think the NFL was that excited about him, but I think
hmm
it looks like they are. But yeah, player profiler had him comp to Stephon, and
Okay.
and the way he played was just like gritty and aggressive and like very fundamentally sound. He seemed like a all around wideout that I think is going to be doing great. I hope that he leaves some room for Romeo Dobbs to be on the field. That would help me in my personal ventures.
Yeah,
But
me
I'm kind
too.
of like very worried about Romeo with
Really?
this addition.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty serious thing.
Yeah, I think Reed's going to be pretty legit, and the offense seems like it's going to change. We can get into the tight end talk later, I guess. But they went and double dipped there. Um, what about other receivers? I mean, I feel like we need to mention Jalen Hyatt to the Giants. It's that he's definitely not a guy that I was like super in on, but there's no one in New York, so like.
That's a
It
beautiful spot for him.
Yeah, it works really, really well. So it's gonna be hard to turn my nose up at Jalen Hyatt now.
Especially on that, like he slots in that Darius Slayton type role,
Hmm.
just like a streaker, but he's smaller, better, I'd say, fast and much faster.
Yeah.
Uh, so if Daniel Jones can keep up some of that action, I think it's a great spot. Um, I got a shout out to Michael Wilson, man.
Okay.
We liked him out of
Hmm.
Stanford going to the Cardinals, Cardinal to Cardinal. That's fun. But if anything were to go down with DeAndre Hopkins no longer being on that team, um, even if Hopkins is there, you got Hollywood Brown, Rondell Moore, and Hopkins. Like none of those guys played a full season last year.
Hmm.
And then you got Michael Wilson, who I think is a big sleeper going in the third round to the Cardinals. I look for him to be kind of guy that's turning heads a little bit. So he definitely got a bump. Gonna have to probably wait and see on that for sure.
Hmm.
But yeah, man, that kind of rounds out any wide receiver action. I think
Yeah.
that
I
I was
mean,
really
like
looking at.
the big name guys all got pretty decent landing spots in my opinion. Nothing crazy, nothing terrible, but we spent all off season talking about them. But yeah, I'm with you. I don't really have maybe Tyler Scott to the Bears is worth a look.
Sure.
But other than that, yeah.
Well, let me ask you, out of those top four guys, first round wideouts, who are you most excited about?
Hmm.
So it's because I know the answer for me is 100% Jordan Addison.
I think it would probably be Addison. I'm for what it is worth. I'm not, I think, as excited about him as you are to the
Mhm.
Vikings, but of the four guys, that would be the one I'm the most excited about still. And I think it's gonna work really, really well. I just don't know. I don't know. It's hard with Justin Jefferson, and then honestly, let's be real, it's me being a Packers fan. It's hard to like overly get excited about Vikings guys. But he should all there's going to be hardly any attention on him at first. He's going to be like the rookie out there just kind of being the safety blanket almost if Justin Jefferson isn't there. Well, I guess they have Hawkinson now. But like he's just going to be able to feast underneath and like just be able to get open, find the spots in the zone that like cuz so much attention goes to Jefferson and now Hawkinson that like they're going to be putting him one on one a lot, at least at first, and he's going to make some people look silly.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, man. It's a perfect spot for him. So, but yeah, do you want to get into tight end action?
Yeah, we can do some tight end action real quick. Honestly, like I really enjoy a lot of the landing spots of the tight ends. I think Kincaid is astonishingly good landing spot. Apparently Josh Allen, super, super excited, texted the GM of the Bills, I guess, and was like freaking out when they took Kincaid and was like super pumped and said that he reminded him of Kelsey, which again, I said it during the track. I don't know why we got to compare every single new player to the best person at the position at all times. I saw something today that was like Caleb Williams is a more well-rounded and polished Mahomes. Like, okay, really? That's what we're doing? Okay. But anyway, that's a different rant.
Yeah, I'm not a Caleb Williams fan, but so I scoff at that.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's just a silly thing to say.
yeah,
Sam Laporta being in front of Michael Mayer, and then also I do like him though to Detroit. I think it makes sense.
that's the guy that I think I almost want to. Well, I'm pumped on this one. Like I'm really pumped about him.
Okay.
I really enjoyed watching him. I said he's the next Kelsey when I watched his film. So look at me doing that same old shit. But yeah, he's that's fierce, especially with the suspensions that team's facing. He could slot in to be a fucking superstar, man, real
Hmm.
quick.
Oh yeah, 100%. Honestly, even going after that though, Michael Mayer, I like him to the Raiders. Luke Musgrave makes a lot of sense to the Packers, and I was a big Luke Musgraves fan coming out. To
Yes, you
be
were.
honest, though, Musgraves and Kraft, like you could end up they could end up using both those guys like pretty consistently. I mean, Kraft is more of an inline blocker for sure, but
Mhm.
like you could see I saw this on Twitter today, so I don't want to steal it and act like it's mine, but somebody said like remember when the Ravens took Hayden Hurst and Mark Andrews? Like it could end up the same way where Tucker Kraft is actually the guy that gets all the work and ends up being the guy and you can take the discount on him. I don't necessarily think that's true. I think Musgraves, they really like him, but I think that was great. And then like even Schoonmaker fitting in there to Dallas was really nice.
Yeah, that's a sweet little spot for Schoonmaker. Um, that's clearly something we're gonna have to wait and find out. Underutilized in
Hmm.
Michigan.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be some growing pains, especially with you got your Jake Ferguson's already holding down the fort there.
Hmm.
But I like the Green Bay guys. I do think Musgraves is probably gonna get. I think that that whole team is gonna be feisty, dude. It's gonna be like a poor man's version of almost. I don't want to say this, but almost like a poor man's version of the Bengals offense, where it could
Ooh.
be like anybody, any of the time. If Jordan Love can back it up,
Yeah,
I
I
just
mean
think that
that's key, but yeah.
I just think as far as like spreading the ball around and like dynamic playmaking, I think we're going to see a lot of it. This just seems like a group that just has
A
more
lot of
energy.
speed, a lot of
Yeah,
explosiveness, a lot of speed on that. They have a plan. Is it going to work? We have no idea. It's going to be fun to watch though, I think. Like,
that's
like
true.
it we may not win a lot but there's some players, on this field right now.
Hell yeah. I really think, yeah, I can't really say anybody's in a better position than Michael Mayer, man. If
Mm.
you look at just like, I know you can't really give that organization or their current quarterback any credit for the Darren Waller success.
Hmm.
But if there's any sort of uh, any kind of workload distribution to the tight end that's even close to that, I think he's gonna be pretty amazing. He's definitely pro ready, so hopefully he doesn't have the tight end hangover. And then Garoppolo, with Kittle, has always been like a good thing.
Hmm.
Um, so I think, yeah, just as far as safety blankets go or security blankets, I think he's probably slotting in my heart as probably the highest productive rookie in this group, just from the team build standpoint.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, honestly, those all five of the top tight ends off the board, like I'm comfortable with where they are and like would be fine taking any of them in a rookie
Heck
draft.
yeah.
So it's interesting. With that said, you want to get into some running backs?
I guess, man. It's hard to do it without getting all sad and shit.
I don't know, man. Like I didn't get as down on a lot of these. I mean, some of them for sure. Obviously Bijan to the Falcons is great. It eats Algier, so that is sad. And I was a big Algier fan
Yeah.
coming off of last year. And it really does set a precedent at this point. Like,
Who
do
cares?
not, do not count on these fourth round rookies. Like, just
Mhm.
don't do it because we've seen it with Algier. We've seen it with Elijah Mitchell. We've seen it with Michael Carter. We've seen it with
James Robinson.
James Robinson. Like all these guys, you think, oh man, he Algier got 1,000 yards last season. Like, why would they need to go spend big on a running back? Then they drop the eighth pick on Bijan Robinson. Like,
Smoking.
and
Yeah.
you know,
And the Falcons coming out with the best run blocking line in the NFL. So it's like how much of that was Algier? How
mhm,
much of it was just the team? And then now, yeah, obviously they thought they needed to do better. I mean, this is a baller move.
yeah,
It's bold, and that man, that division is as up for grabs as any of them. So
mhm. Oh, big time.
it's spicy, man.
I actually am in the camp that I love Gibbs to the Lions. I think they see him as a weapon, not just a running back. And I think that's going to be really, really spicy, especially now that they already traded Swift. I like that a lot.
Yeah, the Swift trade makes it this sweet. I mean, obviously you can't be Bijan, but like
Hmm.
as far as the way that team just ignored the weaknesses of their defense and just
Hmm.
leaned into just being a point pushing badass as they were last year.
Hmm.
I mean, you gotta be excited about any playmaker on this offense, and he's dynamic and explosive, man. So um, I hope no one traded the 101 for like the 1-3 and the 1-7 or anything like that, because you're gonna be staring at a wide out there at the third pick. It's gonna be sad.
It's
But
not gonna be tight. Although I don't hate Charbonnet to the Seahawks as much as I originally did. Um, because I saw Pete Carroll today say that they're gonna compete, and I think Charbonnet can beat Walker in a competition. I genuinely do. And he's more dynamic in terms of receiving capability. I know we saw Walker kind of get into that a little more in Seattle last year than I was anticipating, given how little he did it in college, and they did
right.
use him. But there's a fucking reason they brought in Charbonnet. Like you don't just they spent a or second round pick on him. There's a reason they did that, and it's because they want to be more dynamic. They want to have two guys out there, and if it really does come down to the hot hand, I think Charbonnet could be the hot hand more often. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. So does it hurt him? Sure. Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think I'm as down on it as other people are.
Well, I hadn't considered that. I always called Kenneth Walker the outside zone king of the West,
I mean,
and to me he always had like that as his calling card, whereas Charbonnet is I've said this a million times, so if this is the first time, just know that I think he's kind of an old school bruiser, dude. And
mhm,
like I've always made the joke that someone should tell him you get 3 plays to get 10 yards, because he's busting down walls and just making big old
mhm.
gains. So I agree with you. I mean, open competition, let's go. I mean, I think it's probably a 1-2 punch, but I'd bet on Charbonnet in the red zone
Mhm.
if I was a
Yeah.
fantasy guy, which I guess I am. I'm not
Mhm.
an actual NFL personnel manager. So what
That's
up?
true.
Yet.
um yeah, going after that. Two guys I talked about a lot, and I like both these landing spots as well more than a lot of people. Kendre Miller to the Saints, Tajay Spears to the Titans. Um, I fucking love Kendre Miller to the Saints. Love it. Absolutely love it. Like obviously Kamara is there, so he may if you need somebody to come in and start for you right now as a rookie running back, Kendre Miller is probably not your guy. But we've already heard rumblings that Kamara is on the way out the door, and he's older. He's 27, 28 years old anyway. Jamal Williams is there, but he's older as well, and also never really been a receiving back. And so now it almost to me seems like they're setting up this scenario where Kamara goes out the door, and now you have Jamal Williams, Kendre Miller, kind of a dual threat backfield. But that's not going to last very long. I think Kendre Miller takes over, and if you're willing to be patient and wait, I think he ends up being the starting running back of the Saints. And he's a dual threat guy. I think it makes a lot of sense. You got to be patient with this one. And same thing with Tajay Spears. I think you just got to wait till Henry's out the door. And then obviously the weird ACL not having an ACL news that we got out of Spears. Did
Yeah.
you hear about this? So like
Yeah, I
that.
saw that.
So that you're gonna have to keep your head on a swivel about because he seemed to downplay it. Said that like he's basically I read like a whole thing about it, and he was like, "Yeah, I've been maintaining it for years. Like it is what it is. Like I do the same things that other people do. I just have to be more careful." And so I think it may limit like his length like career length, but like I don't know. So that's something you got to keep an eye on. But as far in terms of landing spot, I still really like it. I think he'll end up the heir apparent to Derrick Henry, or at least like if they decide to go with a multiple backfield thing, he'd be the passing down, change of pace guy at the very worst.
Yeah, and I think we've seen the Titans kind of um I don't know, they've kind of always backed off for their late postseason runs and stuff.
Mhm.
So that's just what you want is to have the guy that's getting those touches, those easy touches, kind of rested touches,
Mhm.
and let him build a rapport, which I think it's definitely going to be happening. So, yeah, no ACL was that. I guess I was trying to read about it, but he's just born without one, or
No, so
it's
he has
disappeared.
arthritis, and so
Okay,
essentially, like I think he tore them or one of them, and then like it's just kind of worn down since then,
gotcha.
basically. But again, he said he's been dealing with it. It's not new, so like he just put up over 250 carries this past
Yeah,
season with it. So like, yeah,
still pedaling.
maybe he can't play until he's 30, but how many running backs do anyway? You
Yeah, pretty
know.
much none. I mean, how boring would that be? Ugh, like 9 years, the same guy. Make room for some of these other guys. But
um, go ahead.
I was just going to say this next one is pretty tasty, right?
Yeah, yeah, Devon A Chain to the Dolphins, fastest fucking team in the world now. Good Lord,
Yeah,
all the
man.
speed. The only thing here is like I am skeptical of the consistency, but like he's gonna have crazy boom games for sure.
Yeah, and we always like a 200-pound back or more. You look at Kendre Miller, it's like 215, like that's what we're talking about.
Hmm.
But A Chain's 188. You can't stop a speeding train, right? Or speeding bullet or a speeding A chain. I'm all right. I'm all right with the size. I think that he's going to make it work.
Yeah, I think
I'm
he'll.
I'm I'm pumped about him, man. I mean,
I
I
think
got
he
him in
got a
like a
lot.
first round grade for sure.
Yeah, I think he moved up on a lot of people's boards. I know that like if I was sitting in the middle of the first round, I would probably take a chance on him now. Um,
Would you take him over Charbonnet or no? You're willing to risk it?
no, I would still take Charbonnet. Like, but
I put
that's
him
I buy.
fourth then.
Yeah. Um.
You like
Yeah,
Miller?
I like Miller a lot. But A Chain's gonna be more instantly usable. I think if I had to pick who I think ends up with a better career, it would still be Miller. So it's
Yeah,
that at that point it's roster construction. If you have three running backs you like, I'd probably take Miller. I'm sitting at a point where I have two running backs I like and need a third guy. So if A Chain were to fall to me, I don't think he will though in the for the belt league. If he were, I would probably have to take him over Miller just because I need somebody that's probably going to play sooner rather than later. But I do like Miller a lot. But they would be like that would be the break to me. It would be like Robinson and Gibbs, and then like I still have Charbonnet in this like weird little third area or second
yeah,
area, and then kind of Miller, Spears, A Chain, all kind of are in that third tier to me.
right on. Yeah, Spears just with the Derrick Henry thing kind of gets knocked out of that group, but
Yeah.
I'd say I'm with you on the rest of that. What do you think, man? What do you think about Jacksonville? You think Tank Bigsby in the late third is a threat?
Nah, not a threat. He's gonna get. I think he gets some work. It seems like they kind of want Etienne to be more of a utility role, like receiver, and they need another back to be on the field for that, and kind of take some of the attention off him, and also like give him time. So I think Bigsby will get used, but I don't think it's a threat at all.
Right on. Yeah, I don't either, but I've been out on Bigsby pretty much this whole off season.
Yeah, I'm not like the biggest Bigsby guy either. So. Then we got honestly these next four names. I do well, okay, so three of the next four names I really enjoy their landing spot. next
Oh.
names I enjoy, but I don't enjoy his landing spot. So we
Uh-huh.
got Roshan to the Bears, Abandakanda to the Jets, which is the one I don't like. Chase Brown to the Bengals, which is big, and Eric Gray to the Giants, I think is really sneaky with the whole Saquon situation.
The Saquon situation. Is this the year he doesn't play all year? Yeah, no, Eric Gray is spicy, man. Like that's a guy that um he could turn out to be the Zamir White
hmm
of this year's draft, or he could turn out to be I don't know, the Eli Mitchell
hmm
from back in the day. So he's a guy I'm hot on. Obviously, Chase Brown, like you got to pay a
Yeah.
little bit of attention to that backfield with the things going on with Mixon.
hmm
Roshan Johnson, like fuck, dude. I'm a Khalil Herbert guy, and I'm like, well, this sucks.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it's not like no one's panicking, but like we all know what
Mm.
this means.
It could very easily. Again, we were just talking about it with the fourth round rookies. I mean, although Roshan being a fourth round rookie himself, but just saying that like just because Herbert was good last year does not mean that he's not going to get replaced.
Exactly,
Like,
exactly.
um, going on, there are two late round names I do like. Zach Evans and Dwayne McBride. Dwayne McBride took a huge hit in terms of our like of him and like where we had him. But I still think with Minnesota and like Cook being up in the air, Madison, like he'll be the number two to Madison if Cook is gone, maybe. But like he has a chance to be the number two there. And then I do think he was one of the better pure runners in the class. So you could pair him with somebody like Madison, who's more dynamic and have a good 1-2 punch. But
Yeah, I'm just not a Alexander Madison guy,
that's
so
fair.
I'm like I really like Dwayne McBride, and I'm shocked by all of this. Zach Evans, I guess I'm glad that he got drafted so late because I was slow playing him as a thing this offseason apparently. But yeah, I mean with the Cam Akers iffiness, like shit,
Mhm.
could be hot. I don't think I don't know how much you know about Lou Nichols.
I didn't know anything about him going into it.
Yeah, he was the 2021 college rushing leader and
Hmm.
like really, really destroyed everything. But then that was it Tampa Bay? No. He had a really good offensive line that he lost. And like there was a really good guard that went from Central Michigan up to the next level. I can't remember what team took him, but he took a huge hit with that turnover. But like he was amazing before. So that's something to keep an eye on for you.
Hmm.
Um,
Interesting. Thank
yeah.
you.
And just my own selfish pain, like Evan Hall going to the Colts, where
Hmm.
I've got, Jonathan
Jonathan
Taylor on the
Taylor.
roster.
That's
And
sad.
then my dude Izzy Abandakanda going to the Jets when I got Brees
Brees
Hall.
Hall. Yeah,
So it's like
that's tough.
just a pain, man. That's why it's very personal for me, but the running back position is a hard one
Yeah,
this year.
it was tough. I mean, they definitely got eaten a little bit. And we should mention undrafted Sean Tucker to the Bucks is pretty spicy. I'm not a big Sean Tucker guy at all, but um him
Wide
going to the
open.
Bucks with yeah, exactly, wide open spot for the number two behind Rashad White there. But yeah, I mean, they definitely got eaten, but like to me, I don't know. You can be patient with some of these guys, and I think they'll end up still producing for you. Because I feel like a lot of the teams that, yeah, they got eaten by people, but they also were like people on the way out, like Kamara and Henry. Walker's not on the way out, obviously, but he was hurt last year. Gibbs already sent Swift packing. Roshan Johnson is there fucking with Herbert. So like there's a lot of like there's not a ton of like, oh my God, I'm gonna love this because he's gonna start from day one. But I see a lot of potential for these guys to take people's jobs down the
Oh
line.
yeah, I agree with you. Jeez. Yeah, well, you live and you learn, man.
Yeah,
So
for
we got
sure.
our first rookie draft coming up and on Thursday.
On
So
Thursday. Yeah.
it's gonna be,
Excited.
yeah, man. I personally I had three first round picks in this draft, and now I'm sitting with only the 306.
Oh,
So I'm gonna be on the outside looking in. I'm super happy with the moves I made
good.
personally,
Yeah, that's
but
what matters.
um,
I
yeah,
I'm hoping to make one or two more moves before it's all said and done, but I've managed to get a pick in every round now, so feeling all
yeah.
right about that.
I was gonna take off from you, but I since I traded you Ritter for
Mm.
Evan Ingram, I was like, I can't just go be asking for a quarterback back from this guy. And I would have been sending a 3-6, so you got the 303. That's a good
Mhm.
move, man. That'd be
Yeah,
sharp for you.
I sent him the 311 hoping he would counter with, or
Yeah.
sorry, the 211 hoping he would counter with the 3-3. Or well, I mean, obviously I hope he would just take it, but
Shit, yeah.
that was me hoping like, oh, he'll just knock it down to the 3-3 and it'll be fine. But
Yeah. I was talking to him a little bit and I was like, you motherfucker, I'm a big golf guy.
mhm.
Uh so so I was a little jealous on that one. But
Sorry, I just didn't need him. It
oh
wasn't a
yeah,
like,
you're good.
yeah,
Fuck,
like
dude. No apologies. I'm trying to get Tony Scott. Hey, if you're watching this, Tone, but yeah, he's got like Herbert and I think he's got Jordan Love, but he also has Derek Carr and Sam
mm,
Howell, and I
mm.
got Brissett. So I'm like, let me get something here. You don't need these four guys,
You don't need them
but
all.
so we'll see. I just got to cover one of Joe Burrow's bye weeks, and hopefully he's healthy all year. But damn, it feels dangerous
Yeah.
playing with fire.
Hmm.
So, well, shit, we'll save like veterans who have job security more so than we anticipated for next week.
Okay. Yeah, that
And
sounds good. Yeah, we went a little longer than I think either of us thought on these. Had a little more thoughts than I was anticipating.
it was an enjoyable conversation.
Yeah, I was into it.
Hell yeah, man. Well, um, I guess on behalf of RDR, I hope everyone has a great week.
Yeah,
And
enjoy it.
if you're drafting, do your best, man. Save all my favorite sleepers for the 3-6. But
There
other
you
than
go.
that, man, I guess we'll
Yeah.
just be coming at you next week with probably a recap of the For the Belt draft, man. That would be fun.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about that. And like you're saying, we'll probably get into some vets who may either lost ground or gain ground after the draft. But yeah, just wanted to wrap it up with a little recap, but we will talk to you guys next week sometime. So peace out, everybody. We've been Rough Draft Research.